Hi, the weather's not brilliant this evening, but I'm going to do one of my favourite walks around Dorchester. And we're going to start by the bridge in London Road. Here is London Road. We've got the High Street going up here, Aldington over there, and then down here we have what is called London Road. So we're going to start by walking along London Road. I've turned off briefly because I just want to show you this is the London Road trading estate. And what I want to show you is over here are the water meadows. And we're going to walk through the water meadows and up there on that hill they are planning to place 4,000 houses. Now, London Road is obviously called London Road for a reason, and that's because if we follow this road straight, you will come to London. It's the old main road. We now have a bypass. And I've seen this road change quite a lot in the time I've known it. There used to be a garage here on the right, and now we've got some quite nice flats. And we have top tiles over here. Right, this is Gray's Bridge. And you can hear how busy the traffic is. Named after Lord Grey, who at one stage lived at Kingston Ward House. I'm going to cross the road if I can safely here, because I want to bring your attention to something that's on the bridge. We have a number of these classic signs here, right? Daughter, any persons willfully injuring any part of its county bridge will be guilty of felony and under conviction liable to be transported for life by the court. T. Fruchs. Fortunately that doesn't happen today, but just be warned. We can see the River Frome here. It's quite low at the moment. We're going to cross the road to this path over here. Only a few paces on, then it becomes a lot more quiet. We've got the blackthorn at the moment. We've definitely got that feeling of spring in the air. This is a fantastic viewpoint where we can see the town, we can see the spire and the tower of St. Peter's Church. We can just see the coin exchange, and we see to the right hand side, that brick building is the old is the prison, and then over here we've still got countryside at the moment. 2 points of interest here. Straight on is 10 hatches, which we'll have a look at in a bit more detail. The hatches were to help water flow for the water meadows, and it's mentioned in the Mayor of Casterbridge, that great novel by Thomas Hardy. And what we have here, we see this concrete construction here on the river, and it's actually was where Thomas, the then Hardy School, back I think in the 1900s, or it could have been in the early 1910s, actually made a sort of area here for swimming. It was basically the school swimming pool. Children and young people still swim here sometimes. Pleased to say the school has a very good swimming pool now. Well, the town has a very good swimming pool. Now, if we just walk up here, I apologise if the camera is bobbing a bit, but if we look here, we can see we've got 5 remaining hatches there, and here would have been some hatches. And I think it's mentioned in the Mayor of Casterbridge, and the bridge we just walked over was where Henchard actually looked down and saw his fate. Henchard, I think, could have walked this walk on his last evening of gloom. It really is lovely down here. The water meadows are sort of protected. However, there's quite a controversial building programme, planning application over to these hills here, where the land rises. There's currently, I think it probably go ahead, a planning application. I think it's 4,000 houses, basically farm where you see the bungalow to the right hand side all the way to Sharminster. There's quite a programme at the moment talking about it. They do claim that they're going to leave this green long, but there could well be a problem with flooding, as you can expect. It's slightly controversial. But let's for now continue our walk. The Blackthorn was glorious last week. It's funny how quickly it suddenly is over. I expect the weather will get a little bit warmer now. Coming out here, we now come to green pasture land. And there's often sheep in this field. And in September, this is where the Dorchester show is currently held. So in September, these fields are covered in tents and marquees. Wonderful, you can see the hedges are just bursting into green. Right, we're going to go through this gate here, and then we're going to go along this path here and to the left hand side and follow that track to the barn over there. Right, over there is the road to Peter Trent side, and turn round. And we are going to take this track over here. Now, from my understanding, and I might have got the plans wrong, but I think where the ground rises, that is where basically you will get these 4,000 houses. This used to be an open field, but I noticed during the COVID times they fenced it off. I think they had some issues, unfortunately. But where this used to be one large field, we've now got the path fenced off. It's like, from a distance, this pile of rubble looked to me a bit like a dinosaur sleeping there. Where you can hear that bike over there, that is currently a lane, and I think that lane goes with all these houses. This is a lovely lane up here, but we aren't going up this lane, we are going down here to our left hand side through this gap here, which opens to another field, which once upon a time the fence was not here on the left, and again that came during COVID, but there was always a fence on the right. Let's go through this gate. I must say these paths are very well maintained, but they're very well used. There's some lovely trees up here. This is quite a lovely landscape. And if we go back towards and swivel round, the town is over on our left. This is a great skyline of the town. You can see St. Peter's, All Saints Church. This is a lovely view. Back in January, this lane was really badly flooded and now it's as clear as ever. It is quite rare to see no water here, and it's absolutely dry at the moment. A few months ago it was a torrent of water. We're now coming up to a local spot well known as Blue Bridge for obvious reasons. Over on our right hand side is Hangman's Cottage. The hangman used to live there. The prison's just over to our left. Nice explanation of John's Pond and the Water Meadows. This again is the path which is, I'm pretty sure, in the Mayor of Casterbridge, where I can't remember precisely the description, but Henchard comes down and it's all very gloomy and dark and foreboding. Now, this stone over here, which is by this lovely cottage here, but legend has it that this is the spot that Thomas Hardy, the great novelist, stood, and up there on that bank is the prison, and there's a gate to the prison, and the gallows used to be there, and it was at this spot that Hardy saw the last hanging of a woman in Dorchester, and that might have been his inspiration for his novel Tess of the D'Urbervilles. This lovely cottage here used to be lived in by a Danish countess, and she had a niece, and in the 1950s the niece was seen on the wall, and the niece was actually quite a famous actress who was staying in the Hotel of the King's Arms, but was a niece of the Countess, and the actress was one Audrey Hepburn. We are now winding our way along the path, which is sort of past the allotments, with Froome Terrace on our right hand side. And this is bringing us back to actually where we started the walk. Over there we see the Right Hart. There used to be a pub on this side called the Right Hart, and the Right Hart used to stand outside it, and I think it was in their planning permission that they had to reinstate the Right Hart. And you can see the South Tower Fish and Chip shop here.